Hi guys. Today we are going to talk about a little bit more about the color. This lecture will be very short, not long like the last week lecture. Last week we talked about the properties of colors. It's like hue, value, and intensity. Today we are going to talk about some color schemes and the psychology of color, some psychological aspects of color. So let's start with this one. So last week what we learned, the color wheel we also learned last week, but how many steps were there in that color wheel? Anyone remember? How many colors were there just on the wheel? 12. Yeah. This time this is another color wheel. This one is called Ostwald color system. The previous color wheel also is a closed system. This one is also known as closed system. What's the closed system mean? Anyone have idea? Or the closed means there is just, it's enclosed into a one entity, like you have 24. So it's limited. The color, the number is limited. But even though this one is 24, I will show you in the next slide. There is this value. So you have this 24 and you can go, if you give more white to it for all the colors, it becomes more lightness. And if you give black, it becomes more dark. It's something like this. So this is actually the primary colors we learned. The previous color wheel has only 3. That is yellow, red, and blue. But this time they use the green also as a primary color. But you know, green can be made from blue and yellow. But in the Ostwald color system, they use green as also a primary color. See, this is, if you find it in the design studio, this is what we call the Ostwald color system. So see, the 24 colors are in a one wheel. So you have, when you go up, so it's like you have the color wheel like this, lightness and the darkness. The value, the high values are on top and the low value is at the bottom. But it's limited. You know how many colors you can go. But there are, you see, there is a gap in between. So that means it's, you can have more colors. So this is the other color system, the Munsell color system. This one is an open system. So you have unlimited colors in this one. So it's the same thing like this. You have the color wheel, but you have the value top to bottom, the same like the previous one. But you have also the chroma. That means the intensity. You add more gray. Then it comes into the center, just like the complementary color. But you see, this one has, there are so many hues. See the differences, because there is no limited like in the color wheel like the previous one, like 24 colors or 12 colors. You have unlimited colors. That means if you add, so in between you can make another, in these two you can make another color by adding small amount of the other one with that one. So you can have infinite numbers. So that means you have different color systems, schemes. But in this course, we only work with the 12 steps color wheel. And this is another important thing. Color can be used for emphasis. So focal point, definitely you see now here, your eyes will definitely go to this yellow color. So remember to give emphasis and or focal point, color is a major factor in any composition. If you have one dull or one hue with the values in a composition, if you use a different color, contrasting color, definitely your eyes will emphasis into that. See here, when you take this image, I know your eyes will go to this. And if you take this whole image as one composition, your eyes will definitely go to this, this, and this whole thing. So remember, color is a major factor when you are making focal points or emphasis in a composition. And it also helps you to make balance. What do you guys think about this one? Now, I see this. So let's say, do you think this is balanced in as a composition? This image, I'm referring to the grayscale one. Yeah, I also think now it's like when you see now the both sides are balanced with this visual way. What do you think about this one with the color duck? Do you think it's also balanced or more weight onto one side, or what do you think? More weight onto the left side. I also think like that, but this one was here in this lecture. Like they say about to balance it, they use the color, but I also think this side is more weight because of the color. When you see bright colors and all the in a composition, that side is more weight. If you use the same color or another different color onto this side, it might be balanced. It's depending on everyone's point of view. I also think that it's more weighted onto left hand side. And you see now the color is also an important thing when you are trying to make a balance in a composition. I know this image we used previously in few lectures. So do you identify now in the background? It's more gray color, and these two parts of the image, this is like more bright and that one is a little less intensity, and the background is almost dull color. Do you see the depth of it in the image, or do you think it's like a flat image? Do you feel the 3D in the image? Yeah. So that's also another important thing. This one is called it's called the atmospheric or aerial perspective. It's like when you need to make a 3D, or if you want to make a depth to a composition, you can use this dull color, like the more grayish. So when you are using more it's more gray, and when you use with the hue, the gray color, when we mix it, we learned about the intensity, it becomes dull. So when you have a dull color, it's your eyes will perceive it as more far away. So that's why here it's looking like more far away, and here see it has a little more intensity. So we feel it like more nearer, and this one is more bright, and so it's more closer to us. It's also depending on this sequence of the where the images are also, but when you are suddenly looking at it, you feel the depth of it because of the intensity. So intensity is a one thing that you can use to make a depth for a composition. It's like adding more gray into your color. This is another example of it. See how they use the gray color to give the depth. This one is called this atmospheric perspective, but I prefer the previous image. This one is showing more depth into it. This one is like you have the lines and makes. So value is also another aspect you can use for the depth as well. See, this one is almost like flat because the whole thing looks same brightness have it, but and also they use the green and blue. Green and blue are almost cool colors, so the whole image looks like far away rather than but it's more looking like a flat image to me. So that's what we learn about the color scheme. Now we going to learn about the psychology of the color. Not the oh no, we will go more towards now. This is like the one that we learned before. Last time, do you remember what we learned about? We learned something like without hue, we have this value. Using the gray, we call it a name. Do you guys remember that one? The name? No. Achromatic color. So that's no hue. But the monochromatic color means you are using a hue, but one color, and you have the same thing, the value, lightness and the lightness and the darkness. Achromatic is we only use black, white, and gray, but the monochromatic you can use the red. If you use red, you have the if you add white to it, that the one that you did actually for your 6A assignment. That's monochromatic scheme. So these are some of the this is going with some of the images of the films, so to have an idea of what it is about, how the color monochromatic color can be used. So can you see, if you're using a color, the monochromatic color, it's give a certain feeling of this, the hue, the psychology, now the red, it's giving love, and it's more towards the blood and something like that. So it's give that feeling because you are using this different values of the same color. And here is another one. This is called the analogous color. That means in the color wheel, when you are taking a one color, the the left and the right colors, when you when it's like the three colors together. If you are using, it's like I will go to this one. So the analogous color means like you have, if you are using this one, you are going with the two colors on the both side. If you are using this, you can go with these two. So these three, we call it the analogous. And this one is called the complementary colors. I think you guys all know about these complementary colors. And the split complementary color is the one that is having, so I think let's go here. It's like we have a color wheel at the bottom. Okay. So this is, let's say this is the complementary color. For this one, it's just opposite one. So you have the last week for in the 20546 section, students, I told them about the next to it, the color next to it, and also it needs to be corrected. Like you can also have the left side one as well. So three color. It's like the mixer of the analogous and the complementary. So if you are using this color, you can have this whole thing. It's the split complementary color. It's the same thing for the other side. If you're using this one, these three. And the triadic color means you are using the whole let's say the primary colors, we have the red, blue, and yellow, all three colors. If you use all three colors, that means you have the variety. It's like you are using the whole color wheel. So if we go, I don't think if we go here, it's better to go with the 12 color wheel. It's easy. Let's see, I have it here at the bottom. It's not here. So it's like you have the equal distance. If you're using the yellow, this color wheel is totally different to explain it. Wait guys, So the triadic color means you are using the red, yellow, and blue. It's like a triangle. Even though you can use also, okay, in this one, like this. And if you're using the purple, it's green and orange. So that means you are using the whole range of the color. So it's more colorful. So that's what we call the triadic. And the analogous means the three colors like this. If you're using, it's going together. And this complementary colors is two colors opposite, and the split complementary colors is this and this color. And also for the other way around, you can use this one with the three on the opposite side. Then we go to so now let's talk about the psychology of color. Guys, for a funeral, which color do you wear? You guys wear which color? Black. Yeah, but you know, in my country, we wear white for the funeral. So the cultural aspects is also important when we, because you guys know that the black is like the unhappy, the sadness. You are going with that cultural aspect. But in my country, we are going with the white because we think the white is like more pure and like the calm, and also giving us the sadness with that color. So it's totally different. That's why the cultural aspects is also playing a major role when you are having some aspects in color. And you know, this yellow color, when you are what it gives you, it's like more anxiety because it's more bright color. But you know, in the Chinese, emperor used the yellow color, and it can only be used by the emperor itself. So there are certain cultural aspects to the color as well. And for weddings, you guys wear white color, most probably, I think. But in my country, we use sometimes red, also some other different colors. So let's talk about some of the yellow. Yeah, maybe let's go to the some different emotional things here for the color. Okay, let's go to the red color. So when you are having red in your composition, what do you feel like? It's the first thing is about it's a warm color, and how it becomes a warm color, the temperature is low in red color according to the light spectrum, and it gives these feelings like the passionate, active, you're more active and powerful, expanding, which I don't know about, and also it's communicate like stop, because it's the communication aspect, and also it has some cultural aspect, and also it has some psychological aspect. And let's say, let's go, red is a color, fire and blood, some of the thing explaining it about. These are some of the example that it has been used, the red in your merchandising, your interior spaces. And blue is a cool color because it's the temperature of that color is high according to the light spectrum, and it gives more clarity, relaxation. It's like cool, that means more relaxation. And it also gives a distance. You know, the red color is more closer to us because it's a warm color. When it becomes cooler, it's more far away. So it's blue is using most of the time for the relaxation, healing, soothing, calming. We also use for the peace, and also I know we use white for the peace as well, and for the purity. Right, blue. Some of the examples of the interior spaces using blue. See now, in this image, can you see the blue color? They have used it in the center. So the one that we talked about, the emphasis and the focal point, definitely go into the center part. How it has been used in the fashion designing. So yellow is also a warm color next to the red, and it also gives more closer to you, and because of its brightness and all that, it makes you more anxiety and more angry feeling into that one. That's why see, it's some of the, it's like more stimulating and cheerful, happy, hopeful. These are some of the, this might change according to your some cultural aspects and also the way that you are using the color. See, these are some of the interior, some of the examples. And when we go to the green, green is more cooler color, and it's green, when you are looking at the green, you know it's about the nature. It's into our it's already in our blood. It's green is the nature. I think it's all of us know that's when we talk about it, it's the nature, earth, balancing, relaxing, peaceful, freshness. Yeah, that's why most of the interior spaces, they now go with the biophilic design. Biophilic design, what do you have? The color green also. So it gives you these feelings like the freshness and inspiring to work and relaxation in your workplaces. That's why now they are using these biophilic designs. Sustainability and renewal. Yeah, these are some of the other things. This is how they use the color, the fashion. And orange is having also the richness, warmth, because it's more towards the red color, red and yellow. So it's also a warm color. It's giving you it's stimulating, cheerful. Most of the time when you are using secondary colors, it most probably go with the two primary colors, emotional aspects, some of the psychological aspects of those two colors that you are using. So see here some of the example here for the orange. And when it comes to purple, you see it's the mix of red and blue. So when it go more towards to the red, it gives some warm color. And when you are having more bluish purple, it's giving you a cool color. And it's giving like it's giving rich color to the composition. And also, you know, the European emperors, the royal families and the kings and all those peoples are using the purple in their furniture and their interior spaces and all that. That's like dedicated for them. These are some of the examples using purple. And it's black that we talk about it. So these are some of the, it's like unhappy, stillness, modernity, mysterious, death, morning. That's why it's in your, like, signifies sophisticated, power, elegance. Yeah. Some of the examples of using black. And the white, also we talk about it, the cleanliness, purity, innocence, and also minimalistic, also white. You are using white color in spaces. These are some of the examples. So that's it for the lecture. I will go through with the study guide with you. If you have any questions about this one. So I will go with the study guide 4, because we will have this quiz 4 next week. Set the bottom. Okay. So you guys know what is value. Value is from when you are adding white and black to a hue. It's like lightness and the darkness. When you are adding more white, it becomes light, high value, and when you are adding black, it becomes low value. So what is an achromatic scale? We learned last week, it's no hue, but using black, white, and gray. And today we learn about the monochromatic, that is using a one color and having light and darkness. How many variations in value can an average person identify? So how many variations we learn? It's like from the white to black. How many variations do you remember? We learned in our previous lecture. It's 40. Okay. Remember that one as well. So aerially or atmospheric perspective is like giving having more dull color. That means adding more gray into it to give the depth to a composition. And what is the difference between shade, tint, and tone? So tint means the high value. That means more lighter color. A lighter color means, now if you have, let's say, red, you add more white, then it becomes tint. And if when you add black, it becomes shade. Tone is the color intensity, the same like we learned in the previous lecture. What are the three main properties of color? What are the three main properties we learned in the previous lecture? That's value, intensity. What's the other one? Hue. What is the relationship between the color and emphasis? It's very important. Today we learn about it. To give an emphasis, color is a major component. So it has a very big relationship with the color has the very big relationship with the emphasis. So know the differences between warm and cool colors. I think you know about it as well. When you have the high temperature like the blue and green, those are cool colors. When you have low temperature like red and yellow, those are warm colors. What are the two ways to affect the color intensity of a given hue? Okay, what are the two ways? We did it in our 6A assignment. How can we make the intensity, the differences in the intensity? What we used the last week? in our assignment? How did you make the intensity differ? What? No, shade and tint is for the value. You remember we used orange with blue for the intensity. So to make the difference in between the intensity, what we do? Adding gray. Yeah, that's the one thing. The other, there are two ways of doing that. One is adding gray. The other one is complementary, combining the two. Yeah, just like if we have the blue, we add the complementary color into it, because we are using the blue and the orange is the two complementary colors. So remember, the two way of doing it is, one is adding gray, the other one is adding the complementary color. So that's, yeah. What are the characteristics of the additive and subtractive system? So additive system is all about you going with the light, and the subtractive system is like adding colors in the pigments. So subtractive is adding colors in the pigments, and additive is adding composed color in the light spectrum. Identify primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. I think you guys know about it. Primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, and mixing of two primary colors become a secondary color, and adding a primary color with a secondary color, it becomes a tertiary color. Know about the three properties. Yeah, these are the three properties, the same thing that on the top. So how does the color affect visual balance and equilibrium? It's also a major component in the balance. So if you have more color, it's give more visual weight into it. So you can use the color when you need to balance the composition. Differentiate the following color scheme. Analogous is the color which is having closer to each other, the three colors. And triadic is the triangle, so equal distance color. You can go, this triangle can rotate to the clockwise, anti-clockwise, anywhere, but as long as it needs to be in the triangle direction. So the monochromatic is having a hue with the light and dark. Achromatic is only using gray, no hue. What is the color constancy? That means when we perceive color, the same color at different illumination levels, that is what we call the color constancy. It will never change. That's how our eyes perceive some colors. We know that it's orange, or even it's a light and dark. If we are having in two different environment, we see the color as the same intensity. What is optical? Optical mixing is what we learned about it last time. This one is used by the artist called Vincent van Gogh. Anyone remember that one? Optical mixing? No. Optical mixing is, you want orange, but you don't have that color, let's say, but you have yellow and red. So how do you do it? You are making one yellow color line and one red color line more closer to each other. Horizontal, let's say horizontally, we have 10-15 lines closer to each other, like red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow. So when you are looking at it, you will see it's like making orange color. You need to have like the horizontal and also a vertical, but you don't need to mix it, but you just placing it more closer to each other. That one is that's what we call the optical mixing. It's like using the colors colors to place it closer to each other to make the mixed color. Yeah, this quiz 4 is 20 questions. So you guys, the time, you need more time for that one. So I will check next time the lecture to make it more shorter. And let's go to the assignment. So I will just go through it. This week's assignment, that's 6B. So for this one, you need the board 15 by 20 foam core board. And you need to have a image of a just like a portrait image with emotion, having emotions, because we need it in a, you need to have it in high resolution one, because we need to enlarge it to 8 letter size, 8.5 by 11 format, and we need it in grayscale. So I think it's better to go for the one that we have. I will go to this one, then it's easy for you to explain it. This one. Here we have. So it's like you can use something like this, but rather than this one, better to have a portrait. Okay, so please make it sure it has a high resolution, because we need to enlarge it to 8.5 by 11, and we need it in grayscale. You print it out 3 to 5 copies, because one image we are going to paste it on the assignment like this, and the other one we will use it to do this coloring. So the coloring is going to be done, we will have like 3 sketches done. So if we consider this one, we first need to identify the differences in the shade, the value, and we need to make it outline it. But in that outline, let's say now here, this portion, can you see it's more darker here? So what you can do is you will just sketch it out on this. You have another copies. You sketch it out, you outline it like this. But it needs to be close. You cannot do something like this and have mixed with the other color. No, it's like you have to outline it like this. And so all these different values here, you will outline it. And then you use this numbering system, like let's identify now this dark black patch here, here, here. So you make it like number 1, here 1, 1, 1. So you are using the darker color into this one, and the same color you are using here and here. So that's what we call it, like numbering. Do you remember I think you guys did in your early ages, like you have some image with outline saying number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like color it with the number 1. The number 1 should be same color, number 2 will be same color, same like this. So after that, you can use the value. It's like, let's say if you are going to use red color for this, you can use the red and then lighter red and the darker red, the value range. You can use it and do it with the one color. If you think because of this emotional thing, like you want to emphasize something, you can use a different color. It's depending on your image and what you feel about it. So some of the examples, I will show you the previous ones I have done. See here, this one used the two colors into his composition, but using the value of it. See here now, he identify this portion, this one as like number 1, or this one he's giving number 2, this lighter area. So this is how we are going to do the 6B assignment. Here they have the person used the same color with the green shades, and see, you can see some of another examples here. See, 2 different colors using. Can do like that, but I prefer if you have it's better to have the face to take it to the full size of your letter size. Then you can have more variations in a one image rather than having too many components in it. These are some of the examples. See here, to make it emphasize, use the orange color. This is what you are going to do for your 6B. So make sure you bring an image printed with 3 to 5 copies in your lab session. Okay. Right, guys. So that's it. Do you have any questions about this one? And you need to bring the acrylic paint to do the painting.